Good day, good day, good love, good light, illuminators and way showers. Thank you. It is once again in divine grace, gratitude, and loving appreciation that you share your time and your joy and time as we create time here, as you help me share my highest joys and excitements, one of my greatest of which is light language and all of the elements that it has presented itself in, shown me its connections to. And it just came to me the other day to just use that as our invitation today to explore all the different elements of light language. And I was very excited to meet our guest today, Tabby, in a light language hangout, which we'll have her expand upon in her Facebook group, and she'll tell us a little bit about that. And so I was delighted to, I think when we start talking, I think it was like a year ago that we met briefly in her light language hangout, and then again recently. So we had fun gathering and getting together for that. And so I wanted to invite Tabitha on and share her joy and excitement and all of the elements in which she shares her excitement with light languages, as well as other elements of healing modalities, and just get to know her a little bit. So it's really just a casual kind of get together. We're all pretty laid back. It's so it's if you guys received the link from in the email, if you've already registered, let us know that you got the Zoom link okay to be able to join us all here in the Zoom room. The link to register to hang out with us right here in the Zoom room, and ask your questions and comments live with us. There is the link here in the description of this video, as well as on my on my website, Languages of Lights. So just if you click on the description below, you can register and grab, and it will send you the link to the Zoom room today. And we're also broadcasting live on YouTube, as you know, if you're watching us. And so you can leave questions and comments in the live chat. If you're out there, say hi. And so I wanted to say hi, leave your questions and comments. And I just wanted to see right now, no link. She says, okay, so we'll post it. We'll just go ahead and go ahead and post it.
I'm going to just post the link
in the thank you for letting us know. I was actually going to send Beverly, my friend Beverly, in the chat, a message and ask her if she got it. So we just want to make sure if it was working or not. So yes, we want to make sure we fix that right away for anybody who's already signed up. So I think while we're kind of taking care of that, I wanted to say hello to Tabby. And I have to laugh because every time I hear your name, I think about Tabby cats. And of course, she's got a kitty cat sitting in her lap. So I had to laugh about that. So so I just wanted to say hello to her. And are we on the right screen for Tabby to show her? I know Dave's working. my technical guy. So yeah, so just if you'd like to say hello and introduce. Oh, your sound's on here.
Yes, I made sure that the Zoom link worked.
Okay, good. And so we just want to make sure. Oh yeah, what it looks to see like people are hopping in. So good. We just wanted to make sure that. Oh, you want to make sure the Zoom link worked. Okay, good job. my technical coordinator.
And it does.
Great. So yes, please do say hello while people are popping in. Please do say hello and introduce yourself, and how, start whenever, wherever, however you want. And if you guys come in the room, we're just going to keep everybody muted. Please do raise your hand if you've got a question or comment. So we kind of keep it the sound down in the background. And yeah, so we were just talking about what a busy lady you are. And so I was checking after we met, I was checking out her website, and I was like, oh my God, you're just a very busy lady. So yes, welcome Tabitha, Tabby. What do you prefer?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. And I don't have a preference. So my given name is Tabitha. But growing up, all my friends called me Tabby. And I went with that for a really long time. And at one point I was working in a customer service position. And I found that when I said my name as Tabby, people heard Patty or Tammy or
Okay.
some other derivative. And so I kind of switched over to Tabitha because it was easier for people to recognize and hear over the phone. And I just go with both. Not a preference one way or the other, but I do appreciate being here today. I love to share my story. I may be able to match you. I'm not sure, word for talking. So we'll have fun going
Awesome.
back
Oh,
and forth.
I do love that. And I had to, and I really immediately also had to laugh at myself in associating the name Tabitha. I thought, how magical is that? Of course, for anybody, and I know I may be dating myself, but the television show that was on for a very long time and very well loved had a little girl named Tabitha, and she was quite magical.
Yeah.
Bewitched was the show. So I laugh about that all the time, about how witches and ETs and aliens have been sprinkled in our sitcoms and our cartoons as we were children growing up. And I think it's just hilarious how it was all, and it was commonly accepted that she was a witch and she could do stuff, and she was a little girl, and then came their other little boy and so on. So anyway, I thought that was very lovely and magical as well. And I do love your background. Of course, I had to mention it again because I love it so much.
Yeah, I just threw this up one day. I was like, nobody wants to look at the wall behind me, and this has just been up ever since. And I really like it. So
It's
it'll
perfect.
stay for a while till I get a whim.
It's perfect. So yeah, I just, for all of you guys, if you're new to the channel, thank you for joining us. I'm Wendy. This is my husband, Dave. I've been sharing my love for Languages of Lights here for, gosh, 8 years now on YouTube. And I've got, I don't know, 1,200 or so videos. So lots of stuff to explore. So thank you for joining us again today. And I've got all of Tabby's all of her links below too. So yes, please do explore and share. And she's got so many amazing things that she does. So yes, please. Thank you. And again, start wherever you like. And
I do have a lot on my website. I guess I've turned into just to a lifelong learner at this point, is all I can call myself, because I always am learning something new. I'm currently in school full-time to become a massage therapist, because I see it as this really brilliant connection, this bridge between that Western and Eastern philosophy, and a place where people can come and are a little more comfortable before they start to explore other things. And so I've promised myself that while in school, I won't find any shiny new toys. So now I have a list of shiny new toys to explore once I graduate in June. But as it stands right now, I probably have, at least probably 12 modalities under my belt. Started with healing touch, went into Reiki. I do Akashic record reading, IET, which is integrated energy therapy, access bars, tuning forks. I don't know, the list goes on, but and at this point, I'll just call myself an intuitive healer, because I just go into my toolbox with the person that's in front of me and take out whatever's most appropriate for that time. And of course, I have my soul language or light language, which is the two ways that I kind of refer to it. I know you call it Languages of Lights, but it's all the same thing at the end of the day.
just light language. Yep. It was a word. It was a term that actually my guides kind of gave me when I first started this channel, because I was clueless when it came to anything like this with YouTube, or seriously clueless. I had no idea. And it was sort of like the idea was that everything in creation speaks a language of light, and that it's like plural consciousnesses, and they're all emitting all of these languages of the lights of all that is in all these different ways. And so it sort of just turned into plural, and that's just how it was born. It was really but the love of light language itself and soul language, whatever we want to term it exactly. Whatever that is, however it is. I didn't even know what access bars are. Tell me about that.
So access bars is actually something, a modality that came about in the 80s. It's access consciousness, or a piece of it. And it's 32 touch points on the head. And it's basically like a refrag on the computer. It's going in, helping to remove limiting beliefs and thought processes that we've stored in our bodies forever. Maybe we brought them from past lives, maybe we picked them up as children. And it works around different things like love and money and aging and creation and different things like that. And so it's really just a way to go in and kind of give you a refresh in the brain, like kind of move things around a little bit and give you some extra space to bring in some more good stuff. I like to incorporate my light language in with my access bars. So as we're moving stuff, if people are feeling resistance to something, I'll go in and just clear it with the light language and move on to the next thing. So I've been able to incorporate that pretty much into everything that I do at this point.
Oh, wow, that's really, really exciting. And that is very exciting. And I really did see that happening over the years as I started to see more and more people. Just it's spreading like wildfire, the light languages in each of us as we begin to activate each other. And I could see the modalities just melding and combining and understanding that it's all the same. It's all different, but it's all the same frequencies of intention. I guess maybe that's what I want to say, the same frequencies of intention of it was amazing that I could begin to see people using Reiki with it, and then the sound healing, and then the tuning forks and bowls and gongs, and and then the technology that we have at our disposal today to be able to utilize all this beautiful sound equipment and apps and all this stuff to be able to see how many different ways that people can combine all of these different elements and make it a new thing and make it their own thing and make it something amazing. And I see rappers now doing light language and techno music, and it's just incredible to me how all of the elements have, it's not even that they were ever separated, is that we begin to realize how integrated everything actually is, I think.
Yeah, for sure. And we express our language in so many different ways. It can be verbal, of course, which we know, but it can come through in hand signals. It can come through in coding, the written word of it. It's through artwork, through music. There's so many expressions of it that it integrates itself nicely into pretty much anything that you're doing. I mean, you can sit down with a plate of food and clear your food with it. You can clear a room with it. It's just ridiculous. Like I don't know enough things to think of to apply it to at this point, but I see so many different people doing so many different beautiful, wonderful things with it, healing the earth, healing the collective conscious. It's limitless what you can do.
Absolutely. It's funny, and it's really funny that you say that too, because that's what I like about all the elements of it, is because we're kind of like acknowledging the elements and our connection to the elements around us, and that we created this, that we're all part of the same dust, that we're and where is it gonna go? I had a thought, and then Dave got up. I was like, wait, where'd it go? Shiny thing. How much more integrated. Oh, sounds like somebody has to go out. Doesn't matter. It always happens when we start talking about elements and elementals. She's like, But yes, our needing to be in nature, our wanting to be, and our understanding of that literally awakens our connection and our awareness of the connections to these things, the earth, literally the whole energy grid of all that is. I mean, when we understand, universal energy, Reiki, we can take that into, it almost seems like anything you add as an adjective to these things seems to almost limit it, as opposed to, you know what I mean? It's like we need to define things. And that's what I was going to say too, about how we laugh about how the daily stuff, like you said, how we start integrating it into our daily stuff. Like you said, you're like, oh yeah, I forgot, my water, I can, the plants, when I'm planting flowers, when I can, the seeds that I plant in the ground, the dinner that, I'm blessing at the table. Well, we literally every night, I swear to God, you guys, every night we add a light language blessing, and on top of Dave's blessings in Hebrew, to where he thanks every single element of what's on the plate and everything that went into all of it. And there's this deep appreciation, I think, that light language helps maybe awaken in us, I think, maybe. And I think it also gives us permission and honor of ourselves, as you said, wow, I've got a lot of modalities. I'm pretty gifted, and it helps us see that. And I think it gives us more confidence to share those gifts and abilities. Do you think?
I think that had I not had those other things as a platform to fall back on first, I probably wouldn't have the ability to integrate them as well as I am now. So I think everything happens the way, of course, that it's supposed to, in the order that it should happen. I think if this had dropped on my plate, if the light language had dropped on my plate before anything else, I'm not sure I would have known a direction to even start to head in it. So I needed to be well integrated.
Well, that was me.
I had to be well integrated into the energy healing world and all that aspect of it before I could kind of turn around and really see how this could play in. Because much like you, I self-activated, did not know it was coming. And it really kind of rocked my world for a few days there, afraid to tell people because somebody's going to put me in an insane asylum, right? Because I'm talking gibberish.
So I want to talk about that really quick, if you don't mind.
Sure.
The beginning of your journey, how did that play out? Like, how did that play out with your, your family, your friends, your, wherever you were in your life? I'm very curious about that, because it came from me out of nowhere, and I told no one for like a year. So and the light language for me came first, although I was always interested in the metaphysical and the ETs and like all of that all my life, angels and connecting with the angels and things like that, astrology. But yeah, it came all at once. And then the healing modalities came after that. My interest, more of an interest in that. But I'm curious about that, about the family and not being able to tell people. And I think that those are some of the important things to share with people.
So when it happened for the first time, there was only 2 people around. It was just a small gathering, and we were just kind of hanging out. And I channeled for 3 hours straight. And I was struggling to get myself back in my body, and I'd just start to get myself back in. I'd go back up again. It was scary. It was really scary because I'd never done anything like that before. And while I couldn't understand, and I still today don't truly understand word for word or anything what I'm saying, I kind of understood the messages that were coming through, and ancient ones that were coming through to kind of welcome me and kind of bring me in. So anyways, after I got through with that evening, I wouldn't leave my house for a couple of days, because I'm like, what if I start doing this again? Oh no, what happened?
Spontaneously just.
Yeah. Well, and I didn't have any idea about boundaries and how to set boundaries with these energies that were trying to come through and stuff. So I didn't realize that I had the ability to really control all of this. So I reached out to somebody else on the internet that I had seen who spoke light language and set up an appointment. I was like, I need somebody to talk to as soon as possible. Like I'm going to lose it here. And I didn't tell anybody for a little while, except for people from my holistic center. So I have a great community here, great. And so I told like maybe half a dozen of my really close people there. And it was really interesting because a couple of them didn't want to have anything to do with it or really me after that. It really did set some people back, which I think even further had me kind of questioning, am I okay? Is this okay? Kind of thing, even though I knew in my heart it was. But I had a couple people come over and I would channel for them and kind of practiced. And after a few days, I realized that I could hold myself in my body. And I started to venture back out gingerly, like into the holistic center or something, but I didn't go far. I didn't do too much for a while, until I started to understand more about how to, work with it and that kind of thing. But, it was a good long while before I let my family know what was going on, kind of held it pretty close to pocket. But what I started to understand is that, well, yes, that was the first time I verbalized my soul language. I had been doing soul language for a really long time. When I was doing Reiki, my fingers would be doing things and moving around and I didn't understand. And I knew it was work. I knew it was from source and I knew it needed to be done. But I didn't realize that that was part of that soul language, light language package. So I had been doing that for probably a good 6 months or a year before I ever spoke a word.
Interesting.
Then I started to understand, okay, this is a part of me. This is something that's been coming on for a while, and started to finally voice what was going on. Yeah. So it was scary.
Very interesting. I know, isn't it weird how, I don't know, what felt so natural, felt like it was something I was just too afraid to share. And certainly was had trepidations about sharing it in public, and on YouTube. And so that was another reason why I didn't have any videos for a year or more with me in them. There was just light languages and nature and understanding light codes and sort that kind of thing, and the elemental connections and the what happens in the synthesis that happens with light language in nature. There's something about it that is sort of indescribable, and it opened up things within me, and I literally just started hearing more and more information. So were you already involved in how long were you involved in other modalities before this came to light?
Yeah. So I had started, I was a late bloomer. I was late getting into all of this holistic stuff. Not that I didn't believe in it. I had, had seen mediums and that kind of thing. I had done tarot card readings. I don't think I'd ever had an astrology reading, but I was familiar with it, so it wasn't anything that I was, had never heard of or was afraid of or anything. But it wasn't until, 6-7 years ago that I kind of fell into this world to begin with. And it started very innocently. I was on Facebook one day and saw this free master class on how to move energy from Donna Eden. It was, one of those 1-hour master classes, and you could go and it probably had something with, if you have anxiety or if you're having trouble sleeping, it's one of those, well, maybe I can help myself with this kind of thing. And once I started taking Donna's classes, I was like, oh, wow, this is so cool. Like, I really want to know more. And it really put me down a rabbit hole pretty quickly. And in fairly short order, I had gone through, got my master's in metaphysical sciences, had 3 levels of healing touch, had my 3 Reiki levels, IET, like in probably within 2 years, I had gone through all of this stuff, it's just a very short amount of time. but I couldn't stop. It was just so interesting to me. And when I went into that first healing session, when I was learning the healing touch for the first time we went to lay hands on somebody, and I kind of closed my eyes and I put my hands on her, and I kind of opened my eyes and looked at the instructor, and I said, "Am I supposed to say what I'm feeling here?" She said, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Well, I don't really understand it, but her legs feel really tight and contracted to me. I'm not really sure why I'm getting this." And the woman kind of turned around and looked at me. She says, "Well, I've been traveling for the past 2 weeks and I've been wearing compression socks."
Oh my God.
And that was my first, like, my jaw kind of dropped and I went, "Oh, this is a remembrance, not a learning so much as a remembrance at this point, right? Clearly, this is what I am here to do." And that just kind of really set the sail going even faster. And that whole physical intuitive piece just continues to grow and grow and grow. And the more I practice and the more confidence I get in what I'm doing, and then doing the massage therapy class and getting the anatomy and pathology aspect of things
Wow.
has really helped me to understand what I'm feeling in your body and where it is and what that might be.
That's very interesting. So yeah, because now being learning to be a massage therapist, that's critical. I mean, you have to learn all of those things.
Yeah.
And wow, what a very, very interesting too, how people, I started getting really interested in Reiki, Usui, and then I was introduced to people who were teaching like Galactic Reiki and Angelic Reiki, and really, if it's all from the same source energy, I guess boy, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like, is it learning the levels of the frequencies and understanding for ourselves how to define those or identify those levels? It's, I often wonder myself about that, if it's all the same energy, is it just us humans that need to define what it is? Like to say, well, it's coming from this dimension, it's coming from this frequency. But at the end of the day, if it's all the same beautiful one, so beautiful pool of source energy, the same stream of intelligence that every single one of us has access to, in the same stream of infinite energy, then why is it that we all still have this need to define it?
Well, we have this egoic need to understand and to have value to something. I think, like, if you look at Dr. Usui, when he first started his practice of Reiki, it was one hand position. He put his hands on their shoulders, and that's all he did. And he moved the energy through the body with intention, right? But I think that the egoic mind, how could he be doing something in my liver if he's got his hands on my shoulders? So the need to move around and the need to consume time, right? Because I know that what I found is what I could do with Reiki in an hour, I can do with soul language in 10 or 15 minutes.
Very, right? Wow. That's
so because I'm not forcing myself through the hand motion piece of it. I'm going straight into the energy field and finding those things that need to come out, right? So it's, instead of going through this step-by-step process, which really could be done in a single hand motion, but has been, moved into, depending on who you're learning your Reiki from, maybe 12 to 15 hand positions.
Correct. And that's kind of what I learned too, when I, as a Usui Reiki practitioner myself, going through that learning process myself, same thing, all of the symbols that are and it was funny because it sort of felt, I don't want to say limiting, maybe a little bit. As a matter of fact, Dave and I were just discussing the whole Usui Reiki, how it started, how the masters began, how the students began, how it all started and where it is today, and how we've evolved. And maybe we're just understanding it all in newer ways. And like you said, it's kind of funny. I felt like this acceleration of, and maybe it's just because we're new versions of humans ourselves, you know, which we all are. This is what's happening when we talk about ascension and acceleration, that, you know, you, me, we sort of something has told us that light language accelerates all that. Like, you don't necessarily need all of the processes that we thought we did, that although they are beautiful and perfect and wonderful in their way, in their routine, in their process, a lot of people need that process. It's important for them to feel as if they've got a foundation under their feet to take the steps that they need to take. And that is fine. It's just, for me, in my experience, it sort of felt like, oh, well, this is, you know, way bigger than that, you know, and we can really accelerate all of this. Like you said, take the healing process to a whole nother level that we didn't even realize we were, that we were capable of. And really, isn't that when it all boils down to, when we start thinking about the Christ consciousness and understanding that within us, that is the magic that is within all of us, truly the magic that lies within us, that we have this ability.
Well, and you know, I do use Reiki as a basis when I'm doing a hands-on practice, because again, for somebody else's mind, I think it helps them to understand where I'm going.
Well, and it physicalizes, it crystallizes it. That's what Reiki is. It's
and I explain, you know, my Reiki isn't going to be like anybody else's. And, you know, you're going to, if you go to somebody and have just a Reiki session, you're going to have these 12 to 15 hand positions. It'll be stagnant. Their hands will be still, and they'll be doing a beautiful job and doing wonderful work for you. I'm going to have like 32 hand positions.
Exactly.
And they're going to be moving all around, and my voice is going, and my hands are going, and, you know. At the end of the day, it doesn't make me a better healer. It's just a different way to do it.
Exactly.
And at the end of the day, I can work on somebody just as well from thousands of miles away as I can with them on the table in front of me. So it's as effective to use both the Reiki energy and I do think I think you're right in that they're all coming from that source point, but I do feel like the energies are different. Because as I start exploring, like the Reiki energy feels different. If I'm pulling galactic energy through my hands, it's cold. If I'm pulling Reiki energy, it's hot.
And isn't that weird how it is different, but I can't even define to you guys how it's different, but it is.
Yep. And so depending on when I'm clearing, I'll start, like, my whole body gets warm. If I'm clearing for you or myself, it doesn't matter. My whole body gets warm. I like my elbows sweat. Like, whose elbows sweat? What is that?
Yes, I get really hot.
Yeah. But then if I'm working, you know, when I'm pulling galactic energy, and I have this way, when I'm working with solar energy, I have to actually run galactic energy down the back of me to keep me cool enough to push this solar energy through. My hands feel like ice cubes.
Wow.
So it really depends. But it's all pure source light energy at the end of the day. It's just how it's derived, I guess. And like you said, maybe it's the dimension it's pulling through. I wish I knew, I wish I knew all the answers to these questions.
I know, me too. That's what I'm saying.
I want them.
Right. I feel the same way. And that's one of the things I love about doing these hangouts, is because I want to express that to people, that we don't have all the answers. We don't have it figured out. Not even close. We're just having an experience that all we can do is share our experience. But I can't, same thing. I cannot see. I'm getting the goosebumps over my whole skin.
Yeah,
it is.
Well, I think everyone has created their own modality that's most comfortable for them to experience all of these things. And part of the point of all of it is that no two people are the same. Because if everybody was doing it the same, there would be no benefit.
Yeah.
So the idea that everyone has used their imagination and their intuition to have their own methods and modalities and ways that they bring the energy in and share it is the benefit. And when someone is attracted to you, for instance, it's because the way that you bring it into them matches their vibration at the moment. Otherwise, they wouldn't find you.
Yeah, and I think that's the key. And whether it's different modalities or even the same modality, you could go to one Reiki practitioner and have one experience and go to another Reiki practitioner and have a completely different experience. It's how you resonate with that person. So it's not even always the modality as much as just that innate connection with another human being and
Yes.
allowing it to come through. And I do think some of it may have to do with how much work we do on ourselves, right? And how clear we keep the conduit so that we know the energy flowing smoothly. But it's still at the end of the day, you have to resonate with that person that you're working with, and that modality has to resonate with you. So if you're somebody who is a real believer in angels and like you think that that's where your healing is going to come from, mind over matter, right? If you believe it, it can happen, but you have to believe it first. So
Yes.
for some people, having those angels, the archangels called in for healing, may be what they need to convince their brain that healing can take place.
Yes.
Somebody else may think, oh, the art of Asian healing, whether it's Reiki or acupuncture, working with meridian lines,
Yes.
those guys knew what they were doing, so that'll work for me. So now I've convinced my brain that I can receive that energy.
Exactly. And
So
it's okay. And that's what we want to reiterate too. It's okay to accept this stuff any way you want to accept it. And that's the beauty of it is because if it resonates to you, it's the way you need to receive it. And that's okay. And I will say, especially in my own experience in the last 11 years, that changes all the time. How we need to receive it changes all the time. And we're being invited to embrace that too. That it just because you've devoted yourself to a particular practice for a particular time, it doesn't mean you need to let it go and start something new. It means you can add something to the plate. You can add new things to the plate. That doesn't mean you have to replace your old ways. Maybe you just need to incorporate something new into it. And, by virtue of the way that we climb this ladder, it just, the other things that no longer serve us just simply fade away, just like an old class. Just like you go to school, oftentimes there's a prerequisite to most classes. If you don't have this understanding or this terminology, you're not going to make it in that class. It's just not going to happen. So whether you're not, even if you're grunting and groaning through the prerequisite, the idea is this is our prerequisite. And believe me, I grunt and groan just like everybody else. And I do. I get mad, I get angry, I get confused. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's like, I don't get it. I want to understand. And then just like I was telling Dave today, once you start to see things in a different perspective and you start to see how illogical the way you were thinking was, and you got to be okay with letting it go. And there I go with that, letting it go again. There's nowhere for it to let it go. You just got to be okay with being that it was part of your process.
Absolutely.
I have to do this with myself. You're right. We also have to do the work, because if we don't do the work and the clearing and the cleaning and the working through our belief systems, that's only makes us better teachers. It makes us better healers. It makes us better guides. It makes us better conduits.
Absolutely.
So it's so exciting. And I love and I so resonate with your energy and the ease and grace in which, in which you present, your modalities. And it makes me feel, comfortable and at ease and confident, and knowing that, we don't have to stick to one thing, and this is, this is so funny too, because this is how my sessions have always been. I can never say what it's going to be because I don't know, because you're different. The person You're different. The way you person need to receive it is going to be different. You
Mhm.
might just want light language. You might want sound healing. You might want symbols. You might want a reading, oracle cards. You might need to hear it, feel it, see it, taste it, touch it in a different way. And that was one of the things that my guides were talking about, exploring the elements of light language today with you, is that because I feel that with you, that you've literally exploring all these elements and just tasting and touching them all. And how does it feel? And how do all these things fit together? And maybe this fits together for this person and it doesn't for another. That's okay. How do we define our business card? You guys, this is the funny thing about it. How do you put on a business card? Well, this is what I do.
Yeah.
This is what I do. Define it in 3 words. And here's my website. What do we, seriously, what do we do? It's like you want to get it out there. You have to, and don't even get me started on the whole marketing thing, but
Okay, I want to interrupt for a quick second.
yes, please do. Hi,
So
Beverly.
normally I'm not like this while we're doing live video.
Oh, sorry. I know he's working on things.
But I wanted to make sure that all the people who
Yes.
said they wanted to come
And I
got an email.
And I was, I knew he was doing that, and I was gonna,
So,
and that's
so
why I was like, "Is that what you're doing?" Okay.
the system doesn't let me just resend the email.
Of course not.
So I had to select the people who signed up and send them.
See, it's really funny that he's
But I do want to also
reading
mention
my mind.
that anyone that is watching this on YouTube, there is a link in the live chat if you want to come in on
Yeah.
Zoom and participate, because after we're done here for a little bit, anyone who wants to participate will be able to come on and participate as well. Just click on it and it'll take you right to the
Yeah,
Zoom
it'll
link,
just
and
bring you in.
We'll let you in.
So thank you. See, I knew he was doing that, and that's really funny because I was thinking about it the whole time, making sure everybody who's got, registered got the link.
I'm just playing on Facebook, sorry.
So, yeah, but I know better. So anyway, thank you for that, dear. This is why I love, he helps me with all of my tech and programming. But this is another thing, that just brings up another thing in our daily lives. When we're literally following our highest joy and taking these, I had to laugh when you said that too, about all the things that you've already got on your plate. And then you're like, so then you decided to do what? Please tell everyone, because I think it's amazing, because it's something I also always wanted to do. Is what is your husband building for you?
Oh, building for me.
Didn't you say you're starting a room or a place?
Oh, no, that wasn't mine. No, I'm not married.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought
Wait a
you were
minute, my
saying
husband,
you
wait a
were-
minute. What
I thought
conversation?
you said you
What
were
timeline are
building
we
it.
in?
I got you. Okay.
I
I
don't
thought you
think I'm married. No, pretty sure. No, not. Okay.
were hilarious. My apologies.
I have to check in every once in a while. Sometimes things get a little surreal. No, that conversation was my friend's husband.
Oh, your friend, excuse me, your friend.
Yeah,
For some
yeah.
reason, I thought it was you, that you were starting it, and your friend was commenting about you starting it.
No, I was saying how I needed to carve out some time for some more, self-care, and that I really have this desire to do pottery. I've never done it before. I've never experienced it, but I have this desire to just work with clay with my hands. And my friend was like, "You're kidding. Did I not tell you that I do pottery?" I was like, "No."
Okay.
Yeah, and her husband literally, she has a kiln and a spin wheel and the whole 9 yards, and her husband is literally building her a room to work pottery in.
That's funny.
So
Okay.
it's funny, the synchronicities that happen when you get into this, and you say things to people, and then they're like, "Oh my gosh, I needed to do this," or "Oh my gosh, I have this information that goes with that." And all of a sudden, like, all of these pieces of the puzzle just kind of meld together, and it becomes this one thing. And so learning to trust that whatever is coming in your head, and you're like, "I don't even know why I'm saying this right now." But it's because the other person on the other end needs that for one reason or another, and they may know it in that moment, but it may be 2 or 3 weeks from now before they even see it. And I have that happen all the time. Somebody will come back and they'll be like, "Do you remember when you said blah, blah, blah?" I'm like, no clue.
No, that was, another me in another moment.
Yeah, especially when I'm channeling. When I'm channeling,
Forget it.
it's right. It's not of me, it's through me.
Yeah.
And it's not mine to keep. So it comes through, I say a bunch of things and I go on with my life, and I don't remember hardly anything.
No.
And somebody will come back, I'll see them a month or two later, and, think something that I've said has sponsored change in their life, and they're, on this new path, and they're so excited. And I'm like, I'm really glad. But and so I try to tell everybody up front, like, please don't take offense. It's not that I don't want to remember what's going on in your life. It's just that I'm not supposed to keep that all. So
That's such a wonderful way to put it, because it's true. And I do not watch my videos. I mean, I just don't. There's no
don't either.
point. There's no reason for me to. It's same thing. Once it's out there, it's posted. It is for whoever it's supposed to see, and then I'm on to the next thing. I don't. And I, like you said, it's not for me. It was just a gift that was, or whatever that was, I'm just the messenger. Gosh, there was something. Oh, something you said too about self-healing. And my friend who's in the chat, Pam. Hey, Pam. Love you, girl. She was just talking today about self-care and self-healing. And, that's one of the things I think light language and, well, just all of it, not just light language, but all of it, has literally given us more permission to love ourselves and self-care, and, take those. And when I sell self-care, oh my God, I mean, God, it can mean anything. People right away think of, which I love about Pam can relate to this because she loves her bath. She's got a big, giant, bathtub, and we're actually in the process of repairing our own bathtub. So that's going to be next on my priority list. That's funny. With self-care is that, it's like, oh, I really miss that part of my self-care, the taking of the bath and taking my time, and because I can, and so anyway, it just reminded me of that. And the colors even of something that Pam changed her Facebook profile picture, and the colors behind you. And this color, it's like, it has a very calming effect. And so I'm feeling that energy, and this beautiful water energy. And happy birthday to the Pisces out there. I'm not a big astrologer. I don't know. I acknowledge and appreciate it. Let's just put it that way, for all the things that it is. And I'll give my earth sister, Cindy. She's a Piscean. So happy birthday to the Pisceans. And I don't know, it's just something about that energy of the water energy and that blue energy. And it's very calming. And it made me think of the fish, and Dave and I were just talking about that too, about the Christ consciousness, and it sort of kind of gives me that energy too. So I just wanted to interject that. And for what that's worth. And hey, Heather, good to see you out there too. So self-care, I think that was really kind of the gist of it is, I think that once we start exploring a little bit more about healing modalities and energy and stuff, we start to give ourselves a little bit more permission and leeway for self-care, even if self-care means taking a walk, sitting for a few minutes alone, that kind of thing. Just allowing that, the pleasure of even, the energy of our animal companions, your cat sitting in your lap during the hangout. Animals know. We were talking about that before we went live, about how animals know they want to gravitate to that beautiful energy, and they can feel it. So anyway, yeah, please do share. And if there's any other, there's like questions I think to ask, and then it's like, yeah, just kind of go wherever you want to go. Now my mind is in so many places.
And as it relates to, the whole self-care piece, the other piece I think is important to acknowledge in that, yes, everybody needs to take care of themselves, and no, you can't fill somebody else's cup from your empty cup, right? So no matter where you are and what stage of life it is important to do. But once you start on that ascension path, I think it becomes even more important, that self-care element, because as we're clearing, as we're doing our shadow work, it's even more important that we stay grounded through the water, or that we stay grounded in nature, and that we take the time to take care of ourselves, because it just as part of the process, I think it becomes more of a necessity for us to make sure that we are keeping our own cup full before we start to help others. So
Absolutely, positively. And and I have to say there people will, and I have to really shout out again to Pam in that she's my reflection of that. She reminds me of that, to take the time for self-care. And so and I wanted to say hey to Beverly. Thanks for hopping in. And she's always loving to share our energy with us, and she comes from us from across the pond. So as you said, the energy is limitless, it is timeless, it is geographyless. It is amazing once we start to ease into it and be comfortable with this idea that we really all are capable of this. We have this within us, that it just becomes easier to share. It's like you get all of the reasons why we didn't before start to become a little silly. So and it is interesting actually, talking about relationships and married and not married, and it is very it is a whole different level of communication and understanding and aggravation. When we do have partners who don't let us rest on our laurels, who say, well, do you want me to say what you want to hear, or do you want me to say, and so I think that allowing ourselves in general to take more self-time and integrating more and more, I want to say, I want to come up with a better way of releasing belief systems. It's like I want to say that better, because all of these things kind of give us humans this idea that once again we have to release something, we have to let it go, that we're holding on to something, and it's not really that. It's that it is a part of that which is our journey, and to love it and to say thank you, just like your kindergarten teacher. It's like, thank you, but no, I don't want to be in kindergarten anymore.
Sometimes the problem with those limiting beliefs that are running is that they're running in the background, right? They're on that subconscious level. And so we don't even understand that they're there or they're happening, but they are what's driving our life, and they're what's making they're making the decisions. They're running the show from the back seat, right?
Yep.
So it's really the acknowledgement of that limiting belief and the choice to choose not to follow it anymore. Almost all of our limiting beliefs have been instilled by some measure by ourselves or somebody else as a protective mechanism. And that's why the egoic mind holds on to it, right? It's there to protect us and to not allow us to get hurt or be poor or, get old or whatever that limiting belief is around. It's there for a good reason, quote unquote, but it doesn't always serve us anymore. So it's kind of just shifting that gear and allowing us to step out of those things that don't serve us anymore. And thank and acknowledge them, but move into something that's more in alignment to who we are today and where we're trying to move to. So to me, that's kind of maybe a different way to look at those limiting beliefs. So.
Oh, absolutely. I agree wholeheartedly. And I will say that, that is one of the things that, even though I don't understand maybe mechanically how it works, that, listening to light languages, watching the hand motions, listening to the different modalities and the sound modalities. We call it sound healing because we know it's putting us back into the frequency of what we call pure health, which is really healing is nothing but putting ourselves as close to possible as our highest core vibration at every possible moment. And whether it's in what do I want to say, embracing ourselves in those self-care moments, or those creative moments. When you said that about pottery and the friend, it reminded me too that recently Dave and I came across someone also in our town here that offers pottery classes, and it was like immediately the lights start like flickering in me that, wow, that's something I always wanted to try. And and all of a sudden I start seeing light language symbols, it carved into the pottery, and them like getting these downloads about, these stories that are embedded in these symbols and the information and that us being guided to share this stuff in all these different ways is because there's someone in the human collective consciousness that needs to receive it that way. And they need to hear that story, even if it's just a little symbol, a little squiggle, a little line, something that, today, for example, today's manifest. Okay. So I've talked a lot about the sacred symbols from Sirius and how they help open me up and download all these written glyphs and symbols and galactic information, and how they've equated these symbols to fiber optic cables, that there's massive amounts of information being sent and received through this stuff, just like the ability for us to do what we do today here on the internet and so forth. And so we utilize these signs and these symbols and these glyphs. And today happens to be number 15. Today's date, 2/24/2023, as we create time. Today equals 6. Well, the date is 24 equals 6 as well. So we've got this double vibration that they've been talking to me about all month. And that also is a language of light, because it's light sending us information, and then it reforms itself. We've transcribed it as numbers, letters, symbols, the number 15. In this case, I redrew it. The sacred circuit from, Dave, the sacred circuit from Sirius is number 15 for the day, because today equals, when you add up the date, it equals 15, which equals 6 when you reduce it. So today is about manifestation. So us even hanging out today, once again, on this divine date, if you want to call it that, this power of 15, this power of the number 6, whatever that means to any of you, the manifestation symbol. So for me, when I think of 15, I immediately think of the symbol manifest. And what does that mean to me? What is my current definition of the word manifest? And manifesting isn't creating something out of magic that isn't already there. It's becoming aware that it already is there, and that it's right there, and it's all what's relevant, what we want to experience, what we don't. Just like you said, all of these belief systems, and filtering all these belief systems, through these symbols. And it's kind of like munching all the data and then spitting something brand new out that you didn't even know or realize before. So it's interesting how even that manifests itself. And then I was just drawing some symbols underneath it. And I thought, oh yeah, Dave and I had a fire last night, and we were looking at the beautiful little crescent moon. And well, what does that mean to somebody? That's a symbol for someone. And then as these galactic symbols come through, what is it? Do I have to define what that means to someone else? I can't. I can say what I was feeling when I drew it. I was doing it while we were setting up today and getting ready to go live, and I was just writing the date and thinking about us and you and this interaction, and and started thinking about different elements and how we share these different modalities. And So yeah, I'm not really sure if I had an end to that to that idea or that thought, but it was so anyway, I don't really even know where I was going with that really, but oh, I wanted to see who else was. I saw somebody. Oh, love light shining. Hi. Oh, look at her. Wendy's still bringing forth heaven on earth. Oh, look at you. Well, yep. Come on in. Hey, guys. Love you guys bringing the energy and sharing and watching. And no matter, when and where you guys are, that's the beauty of the distances. And that's what I started to say about Beverly too, is that that's the one thing I love about this. And I've honored more than anything is that I get to meet people from everywhere. And I mean, Tabby and I wouldn't have met,
Yeah.
I'm in Alabama, and where are you at?
Virginia.
Virginia. So, well, we're not too far from each
Yeah.
other. So, hey, you guys,
But
don't forget, if you're in Virginia, I mean, this is broadcast everywhere. So, if you're there already, look her up, the hands-on stuff, if you can meet and greet people together, as we reach across the internet, collective consciousness, and we meet each other. So yeah, if you guys are out there, look up her links, meet up. I think that this year, I think is more and more of that. I think it's also taking us to this next level, if you want to call it, for open contact, is openly contacting with each other. And I love that you do this, healing modalities and the hands-on. Up to now, I haven't. It's kind of funny, but I just haven't. It has not been up to now part of my journey. And it's not saying that it isn't or won't be. It's that it's very interesting how I just haven't. It's all been through, the
And
internet.
I love the human aspect of the hands-on healing, that one-on-one. I do like that. But I too have a very robust online practice because there are people, your people are all over the world. And it makes sense that we are, right? Because we need to be spreading this energy all over the world. So I appreciate the use of the internet to allow me to reach out to people who are in the UK or Australia, New Zealand. I've got a friend in Spain, Canada, all across the United States.
Yeah.
But it is still special to get together in the human aspect too.
Yes.
And, we've started doing classes called Find Your Path. And so last year we only did 2, and this year I think we already have 4 or 5 set up, where we're even extending into Canada this year. We're teaching in Indiana, we're teaching in New York, we're teaching in Virginia. And this is just something that we're trying to work to grow and expand. So first of all, people can get the knowledge, right? Because at the end of the day, if you don't have a direction, you don't know where you're going, you can spend a lot of money learning about all these things, which is great if you have a lot of money to spend to learn on all these things. But this allows you to take actually 8 classes, and they're 45-minute classes. You're not certified in anything, but you get to learn a little bit about astrology, a little bit about reading runes, a little bit about soul language, a little bit about Akashic record reading, how to work with your children, and how to grow your children into open adults. It's all of these things. So you get to sample, and then you get a free healing session or 2 during the weekend as well. So and this is something that a bunch of us from around the country come together to do, because we do like the human aspect. And really grateful to be able to expand into Canada this year, and hopefully head across the ocean at some point and start doing this on the other side of the world, because we all need it.
That's very exciting. And I'm glad that you mentioned that too. And I wanted to, because yes, we're all needed all over the world. That's why we are all doing this. It's why we're all the way that we are. And why we're where we are as well, like you said. And so I love also allowing people to share what they're doing, physically here, and I think it gives people permission, and I think it gives them more confidence that if this is something new you're getting into, and it's something that really you're being guided to and that you love, And maybe you're in that place where you've got, you're interested in this kind of stuff, and you're like not wanting to quit your day job, and that's completely understandable. I mean, this is our job, although Dave is a programmer and a graphic designer and, looking, for other work out in the world, but this is what we do. This is, what I do. And, I also, thus far, that's why I think it's really funny that even as I think about it now, that I haven't, done the hands-on physical thing, because I think really that was, I guess, my theme of exploration, maybe to be able to reach like as out and out into the world. And like you said, that has been the most honorable, exciting thing for me ever. Like Beverly's sitting here, she's in the UK, and yet we've never met physically, but yeah, I feel like we know each other. You know what I mean? It's like, she's my friend, and it's like, and yet, so that interaction, yes, I think is so honorable. And right now, we have this privilege with the internet to be able to do this in a way we've never been able to, without having to get on an airplane, without having to do, and to be relaxed and be okay, just be in joy with each other. And I'm so glad that you're out there, getting out there into the whole, globe. And I just think it's wonderful. And I have friends also in all of those places that you mentioned. I can't even believe it myself. Like,
And we've always found it challenging to figure out what the best time is.
yeah, to do hangouts
do
and everything,
hangouts.
because
And Tabby, you are also doing a light language hangout group where people get to practice light language and learn a little bit more. And the more people that are doing that, the easier it is for people who could find a time that they are able to do it.
exactly.
Go hang out and do it.
Because I have friends like right now, this is one of the things you guys have even figured out what time to do these things, is because I've got friends in India, you've got people in Australia, so it's like how, and then to stagger the times that we do these, but when we record them like this, that anybody can watch at any time and still enjoy the energy. Yet we also appreciate, the wanting to get together in a private space. They're not wanting to be blasted all over the internet, not wanting to be blasted all over YouTube. And we see, and Dave and I do that too with our own, on my own channel now, offering that, private stuff where people can just hang out and not worry about social media, in that way, but still allowing social media to give us that I'm hearing like quiet connection, this without the noise of the outside world, a quieter connection. That's what I'm like hearing. So all of it has its perfect places, everyone. I guess that's what we're really, everyone. So if you're hearing this and you're wanting to, if you are, even if you're in the night, okay, I know someone that is a night owl. Like, she doesn't get up until 1 PM, and that is her time, her prime time, from then until whenever in the early morning hours. That is her power time. So if that's your power time, no matter where you live, then do your, there's always somebody either waiting live to see what the hell's going on someplace else in the world, or they're waiting for somebody else to do something in the United States, and they don't, they're waiting for somebody to wake up, or, just, you do you, because there's always somebody somewhere, when who's waiting to hear what you have to say. And so if you feel like going live in the middle of the night, don't worry about what you look like. If you're in your jammy pants, if you're, we all hang out at all times of day, night, and otherwise. And, and we've joked about that before with people across the world having to be forced to use Zoom, because of, the ways of the world. And now it's become kind of secondhand for a lot of people. And if you don't know how to use it, don't be afraid to ask or look it up. And it's very easy. Don't be afraid. Don't be intimidated. I didn't know how to use YouTube either, and I still hate, I hate to say that out loud, but I still really don't like navigating through Facebook. And so, but you see how the difference is that she does, and that's that's why we're all where we are when we are. That's why. And Dave and I have the opportunity and the software to broadcast multiple places at multiple times. But up until now, it just has not been in the highest excitement to do that. And it's not that we can't, it's, but anyway, I don't want to keep talking. You talk.
Well, and I think part of what you're saying and part of what's important in that message is that, no matter what time of day it is, where you are, where anybody else is, sometimes we just have a message that is for one person. It doesn't have to be for 10, 100, or 1,000 people. If you bring that message out and one person gets from that what they need, then you've done what you need to do, and you've been able to create change in the universe with just that one comment. So I don't ever, like you, I don't ever go back and watch my videos. I don't ever go back to see how many people have watched my videos. Like, I'm not tracking my reach or anything like that, because to me, it's really relatively unimportant. Yes, I want to help as many people as I can, but at the same time, it's not for me to know who my messages are for, or what they're helping them with, or what changes are occurring. It's a beautiful confirmation to have somebody come back and say, oh, after your appointment, this thing happened, this change happened in my life, things are going so much better. But I never follow up with my clients. I never ask them, did that session we do, did that help you at all? Like, that's not mine. That's not mine to know. My job is to open up, step aside, and be a clear conduit for source energy. And after that, what happens with that is that person's. And so I try not to let that egoic mind bugger everything up with wanting to know what the outcome was. So.
Oh my God. See how we give each other permission slips? Because yeah, I don't either. I never have. Not in that way. No. It's not. And you're right. It's wonderful when people tell me that. And it's wonderful to know you've really helped somebody, get through a hoop, jump over a hurdle, whatever it is. But no, I'm so refreshed to hear that, because I always feel this like guilt thing. Like, should I be, as a good mentor, following up? Should I be seeing, was it effective? But you know what? I already know it had to.
It was whatever it needed to be. And
yes,
they always have their free will, right? So you could give them the best healing session that you could give them, and they choose not to move with that right now. And that's their choice, and that's okay. And they now have that information. And sometimes it's, 6 months or a year down the road, or sometimes they need to hear it somewhere else for it to really sink in. And sometimes you're that voice where they've heard it somewhere else before, but it's your voice that's helping it sink in. Like, yeah, I've heard that from other places, but now I've heard it, I've got it, and I'm going to make change with it. But yeah, not ours.
I really, God, that is so refreshing that you said that. It makes me feel a lot better in a lot of ways about that, because I've always just trusted that the interaction was what it needed to be. And I was thinking about something that you just said. Oh my God. I got an email one day from someone who I had a session with many years prior. And they said to me, you said in our session that there was going to be a time when there was going to be a question, and whether or not the answer is yes or no. And I told them what the answer was in that moment, that I got it. And I said, when that moment comes, you're going to know it. And this, they're telling me to tell you, is your answer. And they sent me a message, oh my God, years later, saying, you were right. and I did it. Now, it doesn't matter what they applied it to. They chose in whatever moment they needed to in that future moment to apply that information right then and there. And he said, it was the best thing you could have told me. But he had the, like you said, the free will to choose and follow that. But in some way he knew that was the moment that he needed to take and utilize that information. And he said it was the most beautiful change in his life. And yet here I am thinking I never responded to him. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I feel like such a shit, and you know what I mean? And it's like, here's this life altering thing. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I never responded. And I'm like, oh my God, so here I am admitting this on in YouTube land. I'm like, oh, but you're right. I and now maybe I will and say thank you. And you know what I mean? And it was pretty you know what, you guys, and it was pretty incredible because it was one of the very, very first sessions I ever did. And talk about not trusting yourself and the information and going, you know what? Just be the conduit, say what you need to say, write down what you're given, write down what you're given, and don't question it. Just do it and show it to them, give it to them, whatever. And it's none of your business.
Yeah, and whether we're talking in English and relaying information, or we're talking in our light language and relaying information, it's none of our business how it's interpreted. And we do, as human beings, we want to know. Like, well, I wonder what happened. I wonder if that was okay. I wonder if that got better. I wonder, but because the message, if we allow our egoic mind to step in to interpret that message, it's going to convolute it to the information and the processing of our past and our background and what we think we would want to interpret that to be. Where if we can just let it go and sit out there without being tainted, it can take on whatever life form it needs to for that other person. And I see this, I do this as an example when I get into crowds and I'm explaining light language and kind of how it works. And, you kind of give the background, that history, like, so it's, you want to let it bypass your thinking mind, just close your mind and open your heart and let it kind of sink into your soul. And then I'll do an example and I'll say, okay, I'm going to do an example. I just want you to close your eyes and I want you to see where you feel it. And then I'll do a general clearing statement over fear. Because everybody has fear of something in their life, right?
Yes.
Whatever that, it could be big stuff, little stuff, whatever. And then I'll go around the room afterwards and I'll be like, okay, where did you feel that? Where did you feel that? Where did you feel that? And everybody feels it in a different place. Well, it's not that they got a different message, it's that we hold fear in a different place. And so, you may hold it in your solar plexus because it's that personal power thing, right? I may hold it in my throat because I'm afraid to say something. We may feel it in our brain, in our cranial area because it's all those thoughts that we can't settle down, right? But it's all fear. But if I told you I'm going to remove the fear that's in your solar plexus and that's not where you held it, well, that's me trying to hold you to something because that's where I hold it. I think that's where it should be for you. So stepping back and just allowing the information to flow and putting no judgment on it or interpretation on it is so important, because otherwise we taint it with our humanness. Right? So just stepping to the side and allowing it to flow and just trusting it's what it needs to be in that moment.
I really, this conversation has just been so just enlightening for me and so relaxing and enjoyable. Because I resonate with the frequency and the energy, and it just feels, this is how I feel about it. And when we first see, you can't explain this stuff, I just it was just funny how the happenstance is that, whatever, it was just a few weeks ago that, we reconnected and it was just like, wow, I really want to explore more stuff with her. This is so, your whole, the way, the whole philosophy and the way you feel about it and the way you express yourself and the way and this is one of the biggest messages that, we can sit and channel ETs, you guys, we can talk about angel messages, we can bring stuff through, we can do all of this stuff. But you know what, if you can't bring it down to the real earth and use it in your real life, it's like, really, what good is it? If it's all out in fluffy land and la la land, now that does not mean I do not interact with the fairies and the angels. And that doesn't mean that. It means that it's still a way of bringing all that into this and saying, this is what, it's not that any of this is more real life than it's all our real life, all of it, you know how many times I say, oh yeah, I could speak light languages, but I still got to clean my damn toilet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm still, like they say, chop wood, carry water, chop wood, carry water. And I get pissed off about that. I'm like, I don't want to do those things. I want to do those things, but in incorporating all of that and making it, I love the ease and grace. That has been Dave's since the day I met him, has been his, everything is in ease and grace, everything with ease and grace. And when we just let ourselves go and do the things we want to do and participate in the things we want to participate in, I was just thinking about my friend Pam too, and she was reading about self-care. Self-care is such a layered thing, and she's right. It's so layered. Every aspect of that minute of self-care. When I think about her preparing her tea in the morning, Pam's got but there's so many layers to even that. There's a self-care layering that happens with that. Just I think about all of these things, how we start our days in the morning, most of us. And
that reminds me, we did a video earlier.
Oh yeah.
And I said it then, but I didn't say it today. Here, Happy Goddess Friday.
Oh yeah. Honoring the God and Goddess in us all. And she says that the process, no matter how big or small, is foundational to our universe within and what we can offer the universe outside ourselves. Vitally important. And I totally agree with that. And I was just thinking too that she's going to be visiting an ashram soon, here coming up in March. And so she and I were just talking about that feeling like a layer of self-care, that this is something that's really important to her, that she's been really wanting to do for a while, and just taking the day. It happens to be a free day. So, it's an Isha, place. So taking a day, the free day, they're offering a free day to just go. She's going, she's, booking just booking the hotel room, staying the night, enjoying the day, seeing what it's like. That is a layer of self-care, doing something like that, and Dahlia, hi, Dahlia Rose. I just wanted to say hello. Love you.
It's really
and
the
this,
intention that we put behind something that influences whether it's self-care or not, right? Because we can get up in the morning, have a cup of coffee, throw on our clothes, run out the door, where we can sit for 5 minutes with that coffee and enjoy it and smell it, and get the aroma and feel the steam.
My morning and my coffee is really important to me.
So it's those rituals that we develop around the simplest things in life that are part of our self-care. I completely agree.
It is. I even just said that to Dave this morning. I said, isn't it funny how the nature, the elements, how much, I can't believe how much I get excited, even in the waking up process, the idea of, oh my God, I get to have my cup of coffee. Oh my God, I get to go sit out. Oh, it's warmer today. I get to sit outside and have it. I get to do something different. Oh, today we're going to take, we have a puppy now who's desperately, she's drastically changed my morning routine. So I'm adjusting once again to the one thing that I asked for. I want a puppy, to now what was I thinking, and where's my morning, and I don't get my time anymore, and what's wrong with me? Oh my. And so I'm going through that adjustment, and she's already, we've had her since November. It's like, and I'm
runs our lives.
And it's like, and yet, and then I think, why did I exactly want to do that? I know there's, and yet I move into the reasons and
and this was not, once every couple of weeks. Dave, I'd really like to have a puppy. This was every single day. I want to have a puppy. I want a puppy. I want a puppy. We're getting a puppy. I want a puppy.
And then we were preparing to get married and on 11/11 and then she on the 5th of November, my friend walks up to the door and says, "Hey, I just got a new puppy. And by the way, she has siblings. Would you like one?" I'm like, oh,
They need a home.
they need a home and they need one now. And she shows me the picture of her and I'm like, oh my God. And I already named her. As soon as I saw the damn picture, I'm like, oh, I kind of already felt it anyway. But the higher love.
If it was someone else, we might have said, no, well, we'll think about it.
Yeah, but it was,
she was our animal whisperer friend.
yes, she is actually an animal whisperer. When you said too about the touch, it reminded me of, that's kind of how, it really is with my dog, Ranger. Prior, when I very first started doing videos, when you said the touch thing, it reminded me of when I first got him and he was very anxious, just had I kind of we rescued each other. And his anxiety level was so high. And I'm in my wanting to help him and my love for him and wanting to him feel loved and calm and comforted and confident. I started looking up things on YouTube and I came across the Tellington touch, which is quite an early modality of she started, and I'm sorry, I don't remember her name, the woman who started it, the whole story behind it, but it was a way of touching horses and to help help them and to help train them, but in a loving and kind and touching way. And anyway, there's a lot more to it, and it also involves a lot of healing. And anyway, so I this connection to animals, and that
it was sort of like a Reiki that they didn't know it was Reiki.
Right. That's exactly that. You know what? That is very true. And so she just happens to this neighbor of mine. She just happens to be the one, like, all in the area that all the vets call, and it doesn't matter what the animal is either. It doesn't matter. Now, I also have another friend that hers is distance. She takes phone calls from people all over the world because they can't find their pet, and she helps find lost pets all over the world. Like how it happens. And she also speaks light languages and talks to star beings and has had her whole star experiences and all of those things. On top of all of that, she's an animal communicator, and that is a lot of where her business began, was being able to literally tune in to an animal and tell their owner where to find them somewhere else in the world. I found totally fascinating.
Well, it really just speaks to that connection that we are all one, right? That whole quantum piece of this puzzle that says we, at the end of the day, we are one. We're one collective. And if we train ourselves to reach through, and we all have different gifts, different strengths, and different things that bring us joy. And for her, that's clearly it.
And I just want to say really quick too, I know Dave's got a message from Heather too, that even if you guys aren't out there doing this stuff and going and you don't need to be speaking light languages. You don't need to be channeling. You don't need to be doing any of this stuff. You don't need to be an animal communicator. You know what? Your ascension is your ascension. It's your process. It's personal. It's private. It's sacred. It's secret. It doesn't have to be blown up all over social media, but and I want, something said to say this, that you are no lesser and I am no more because of what we're doing and how we're doing it. Don't think because you're going through this, because one, you're never alone. We are here to support and assist you in that because we're out there doing this. But you're playing your role actively. Even if you're not actively doing this, you're still playing an active role in the conscious collective ascension process. You are still your puzzle piece doing the important part, even if you're doing it from a place of meditation and that's all you do all day and you don't see or speak to another soul. Just as effective and important and necessary.
Well, and even people who, sometimes we have people come into our lives that kind of bring out our shadows, they're fulfilling a role as well, because we cannot create change without bringing it up and letting it out, right? So everybody has a role to play, and that person who is being your mirror, who's getting in your face and kind of stirring the pot of emotions a little bit, they are assisting you in your journey just as well as the energy healer who's trying to help move energy in your body. Like, everybody has a role. It doesn't always have to look like rainbows and unicorns.
Nope. And a lot of healers have come to learn and understand that a lot of people will come to you for healing and they're not supposed to be healed. That's not why they came. They came for some other reason.
Yep.
And healing to that. But okay, they're still being healed. Let me just say that that's what they're all, you know, we're not there to fix anything. They're still being healed, even if their physical expression of whatever is happening in their body, even if that's not gone or healed or eliminated, that doesn't mean they're not healed. We have to also understand that too, that they are perfect in where they are, how they are, when they are, and maybe what they came for you to get from you has nothing to do with their physical condition whatsoever. It doesn't mean you're a worse or a better healer. And it doesn't mean that they didn't get it. It doesn't mean that they're asleep. That is a judgment in all levels. And this is what channeling is, you guys. And this is what I swear to God, I just want to make videos that say, this is channeling, because this is channeling. This is how it comes through for all of us, you know, but in different ways.
Yeah. Well, and us trying to interpret what somebody else's highest and greatest good is, again, that's ego stepping in.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Heather, you said you had a message, and I wanted to acknowledge other people in the room. I want to give other people a chance to talk and ask questions or comments, whatever. If you would like to say something, you know, just let us know.
Heather says, our rituals are celebrations in the moment and a way to show gratitude. It's about perspectives and willingness to take a moment to recognize the little things. And Daniel Pollock is here.
Yes, I was just reading Daniel's comment. You know what?
Why?
Read
Because
it.
you manifested it. I'm going through that now. Things are manifesting, which is beautiful, but I second think it also.
Yep.
That I don't want to be ungrateful, but then I do a re-clarity.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? I'm sorry to say, you guys, just like Abraham says, what you got looking at you right now, and what you see right now is old news. You've manifested that already. Another now. So you've already, it's like you and I not watching our videos or anything anymore, or you know, that whole thing, or the clients. We're in a new now, we're in a new now, we're in a new now. There, you know, and that is how it is. It's just I second think things, but you know, it just, then you get what you've manifested, that thing that you wanted. And then now you're a new version of yourself, and you're like, wow, that was awesome. And look what I manifested. And yeah, that's really great that I don't necessarily need that anymore or want it anymore. But all it did was prove to me, I can manifest shit. I did that. And I can do it again. And this is me, my higher self, talking to me again, because I am no different than anybody else when it comes to this stuff, you know, that I manifested this, but oh, I have what I manifested the house in the woods and and yet here I am going, well, where's my spiritual community? I don't have anybody in my neighborhood that I can go hook up with. Oh, but what do I meet? Well, who do I meet? An animal communicator who brought me my daughter, the love of my life, the love of our life. If that was the only one reason why I moved in this house and why I came to this place, well, I did meet another version of myself through that animal communicator that brought that our baby into our lives, you know that. And so then I say to myself, well, I manifested that. Why did I manifest these? You know, well, that's what, can you look at that as being and my guides even said that to me. Well, is that enough of a reason for you? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Humbly, yes, it is. As I have to go fix my bathroom that still needs to be repaired. It's been broken since we moved in the house. But you know what? We follow highest joy and excitement, and we make videos instead. And
I always laugh when it comes to the manifesting, because you really have to be very specific and very clear what
Yes.
you're trying to manifest, right? So I remember one time the lottery got really big, and I don't play the lottery, right? But it got really big, and I was like, all right, universe, I don't need to win the whole pot, just enough to be comfortable. And I won $8. And so I'm thinking about it, I'm like, okay, so you answered me, right? You gave me $8. That'll get me, I don't know, a coffee at Starbucks maybe. But the message was, I'm already comfortable. Right. There's nothing, I have no real true discomfort in my
Right.
life.
Exactly. Right. Me either.
And so asking for that, I just felt like it was kind of a joking way for the universe to come back to me, right? Like, here's $8. You're already comfortable.
Exactly.
Go do your thing, right? So I need to be more clear, more specific. I'd like to manifest a community that we can all learn and love and grow in. And in order to do that, universe, I'm going to need some money to create that. So like 1.3 would probably, 1.3 million will get me what I'm looking for. So if we could just bring that to me, I can go buy the property and keep going.
Exactly. And you know what? The funny thing is we are actually really afraid to even ask for that stuff, because then that immediate belief system kicks in, doesn't it? Like it's knocking at the door before you get the words out of your mouth or the thoughts out of your head that I want to do that. Oh, but, and then that's the voice there is the voice that's no longer serving me, telling me the reasons why I can't follow my highest joy and excitement. And you know what? Maybe it turns out that it was all I needed was that $8 to go do the next thing, to do the next thing, to do the next thing that turned out I couldn't have, that thing 4 times later down the road couldn't have happened. Maybe it was because I bought a thing at the consignment shop for $1 with that $8, and all of a sudden something happened to me. And this has happened to me. That's why I can say it, because it's happened to me. Seriously. You know, you get that $1, that $8, and that $11, and then there's that $1, and I spent that $1, and something amazing happened to me that opened up this whole, wow, you know, this just gave me a whole nother message from the universe that I'm connected to everything, and that I can talk to my, family that's deceased, and it was like one thing after over $1 thing that I bought at the freaking consignment shop down the street for $1. See, maybe that $8 is all you need that at that moment, in that moment. So anyway, that's a whole nother story. But anyway, it's so great. And I literally get so elevated in these hangouts, the sharing and the energy and yet the, just the ease and grace of it all, the no pretension. The authenticity, the just being, just being, and being okay to just be being. And this has been a big step for me the last few days about being okay with all of that, even with my own channeling stuff, and saying, you know what, in order for me to take the next step, I got to be okay with just being and letting what happens. So I'm going through it just like everybody else. And it's funny that today's the manifest day. I thought it was kind of funny that I don't know why. It could have been anything else. It could have been connect or prepare or anything. But today just happened to be the day that we're talking about, the energy of manifest. So we'll see how long what are we doing here? We've been going for a little bit, huh? Oh, it's okay, Daniel. You can say what you want to say. You retract this message. So I wanted to say hi, everybody. Hey, Beverly, did you want to say hey? I don't want to keep you from talking. If you want to talk, if she's just listening, sometimes she's just like, no. But I want to say hi. If you want to say hi, go ahead, say hi. I'm going to have to take a break in a minute. We're just going to have to say goodbye pretty soon because I'm going to have to go potty here quick myself.
I'm just listening to you talking away, listening. And what did I think? I thought, well, I'm pleased that I've now found people that I can express myself to about my concerns with the awakening process of the individual. That is quite frightening.
Yes,
when you don't know what's happening to you.
It is frightening.
And I have found myself in situations in the middle of the night, waking up with my arm in the air and energy running through my arm, and my hand is doing something on its own, and feeling that I'm a crazy woman.
I'm going to let Tabby address all of this stuff, Beverly and our friends, and yeah, I would love to hear other perspectives.
Well, and
So-
I think the where are my words? Like, just the world itself has got us predisposed to falling in line and following this set path, right? And if we step outside of those bounds, well, then we're not normal, or we're crazy, or we're whatever label they want to put on us. And I think it's beautiful. I too wake up in the middle of the night, either talking light language or running energy or doing all kinds of crazy things. But, it's not crazy. That's when you're most open. And that's when they can most access you, is either in that in between that theta brainwave state, or in that 3 to 5 time frame when the veil's thinnest and they can access us the best. And I think there is that fine line to watch, that we are not completely dissociated from the 3D world, and that we are able to maneuver through at a pretty decent level with other people. We have to figure out how to live in this world, and making sure that we're staying grounded enough to do that. But outside of those, making sure that our needs are met, and we're not just totally disconnected from the world and from ourselves. I don't think there's I think we're okay. I don't think there's a level of crazy we have to be worried about.
Are you sure about that?
Well, I haven't found the line yet. How's that? And I get involved in some pretty bizarre stuff sometimes. Because I still can get up every morning. I can take a shower. I can communicate with my family. I own businesses, right? I have a good thinking mind, a good head on my shoulders. I can do the 3D things that I need to do, and still, still maneuver in this 3D world. When I feel like when I lose the ability to do those basic things, and stay grounded in the 3D world, that's when I need to be concerned. And I do think that there are some mental health issues that we do need to watch for as human beings. But I think a lot of what gets labeled as mental health is truly ascension, and is truly us working through our process. I don't know how to tell anybody else where that line is for them. And I wouldn't want to try, right? Because I think it looks different for all of us. But I think, it's kind of like that. We kind of joke in our holistic community and doing a cult check, right? It's making sure that we're doing what we need to do to stay safe and grounded in the 3D reality, and not worrying about what other people's perception of what we're doing is. And that's, it's, as a collective group, we call it a cult check, right? Making sure that we know that we're not trying to coerce anybody, we're not trying to lead anybody down a path they don't want to go, or influence anybody else's decision making. We're just sharing what we know, and what the rest of the outside world thinks about that is completely their own business and not ours to worry about.
I'm leaving Beverly the opportunity to respond, whatever she wants.
Thank you.
Well, I think
Well-
the resistance that someone feels is the discomfort. So if you're resisting the idea, which everyone wants to resist the change, until you realize that the discomfort is the resistance.
Yes. And I've been feeling this way with this Pleiadian entity energy. It's a collective, whatever, the last few days. And there's this thing with me about being okay with, like, completely letting myself, even though I'm always, okay, let's just say we're conscious, but I really don't remember anything anyway after, but it's like to allow something to talk about me through me. Does that make sense? You know, to explain things that the channel, are going through, but from their perspective, and being okay with whatever they have to say about that. And, you know, and identifying, you know, the challenges that come through that. Funny you said that, Beverly, too, about energy and your arm, because I go through these things and like, it's all of a sudden I get like, and I can't get like, the energy is so, and I tell Dave, I'm like, it just, and he's like, don't keep trying to shake it off, just integrate into it. I'm like, but it's so strong and weird, but it's good, but it's weird. It's like,
Yeah, it doesn't hurt. It's weird. It takes over it takes like, you know, when we're on about this vibration that we can feel in our bodies, this vibration that kicks in and just overtakes everything, and the vibration comes with heat, which is energy. You're expelling energy. Well, this takes it one step further, where it's not heat, it's just pure vibration into energy, and your hand just wants to do what it wants to do. Or, you know, I get it in my face as well. I can feel my face morphing. Or my nose feels as if it's moving from side to side.
So, Tabby, what do you tell, you know, Beverly and the public listening when you're experiencing, because it is weird when you're experiencing this stuff?
So, well, first of all, if it makes you uncomfortable, you do have free will, and you do have the ability to set boundaries, and you do have the ability to say, no, this isn't okay.
But it feels good.
Or it's too much, right? Sometimes they'll come
sometimes.
in and the energy is just too much.
Too much.
And I will say, look, you are dealing with a human body, and you have to take care of this vessel, or it's not going to be able to continue to communicate for you. So you need to back this off a little bit, and they'll back the energy off.
It is. It's
Other
all
thing
free will.
is-
I will say that it's true, you guys. It's all free will, and don't ever let anybody tell you otherwise, ever.
The other thing is, when I get this pulsing energy like this, and I know exactly what you guys are talking about, like it just feels like it wants to explode out of your skin, I'll ask who it's for. And a lot of times it's for somebody else, or sometimes multiple people. And I will direct that energy to whomever I'm told needs to receive it. And then in the morning, I'll check in and I'll be like, hey, around such and such a time, did you feel anything? And inevitably they got a blast of energy. They saw a flash of light, whatever it is. So sometimes it's not for you, you're the conduit for it. And you can ask these questions. And sometimes it's hard to remember, but you're the driver, right? You're the one who's in charge here. Ask the question, what is this for? What should I be doing with it? Who is it for? You know, maybe it's a new stream. What kind of energy is this? That's how I can identify, oh, this is a new solar energy, but I had to run this one behind me for, like, ask the questions. You don't have to say them out loud. You just can ask them in your head.
God, that is so true that you say that, because I will say that, and they'll even say that to me. You're moving through the Arcturus gate and you're acclimating to the energy. It's okay. It's something you wanted. Just move through it. You will it's like acclimating to the frequency. And then all of a sudden you start to feel okay. You're like, oh, okay. And you're okay with it. And then it's all almost like, like I'm supposed to be getting, I'm getting this download. And like even in Beverly's case, I hear, you know, we've talked a lot in Hangouts about wanting to like let light language through, like let it through. And for me too, letting the channeling information through. I know Dave wanted to say something too. I don't want to cut you off.
Well, I just wanted to say that a lot of times those kind of things are sort of practice runs on some form of channeling, some actual channeling, where So for instance, like with Bashar or Abraham or some of the other channelers who their bodies are physically being allowed to act on their behalf. And that doesn't mean that you are going to be doing that, but it's practice to
Yep.
like Wendy said, acclimate with the energies of it. And that might be the extent of it. Once you start allowing that to happen, then your body is now used to those energies and you're just connected to higher frequencies, which is what we're really all wanting to be doing. And just sort of imagine that that's how you're supposed to be feeling all day long, all the time, because those higher frequencies are what we're all ascending toward.
That's very true. And Tabby, as you were talking to Beverly about about asking who it's for, it was like, that was such a great answer, because I feel that way, Beverly, that maybe in that moment you'll, like, I'm hearing like like they're going to say what it is, who it's for, and for you to build up your own confidence to go to a person and say, I know this may sound crazy, but I felt this thing, or I woke up in the middle of the night. I felt I had this message for you. And maybe if it's not even a message, maybe you just say, you know what? I thought of you. I thought of you, and
Yeah, it's actually it's crazy. It's crazy that that you're saying this, because I've had something totally bizarre happen to me this last few weeks. I haven't worked for 3 years now, and been hibernating, really, not wanting to face the world. And then out the blue, I get a phone call at 7 o'clock in the morning, which is like the middle of the night for me, because I'm up all night. And somebody asking me for help to go back to work. And because I was half asleep, I said, yeah, okay then. So I find myself in a full-time job doing accountancy, which I've never done before.
Oh.
In an office with strangers, all men around me. And I'm thinking, what have I just done to myself? But the strange thing is that it was somebody I knew personally from my past who's asked me to do it. And then I started feeling very uncomfortable with the energy. But then there was sort of like, why did I say yes? Something has said to push me into this position. And I'd actually made up my mind that I wasn't going to do it anymore, and that today was going to be my last day. And I said goodbye to the boys on the shop floor. And I said, no, I said to you, this was only temporary. And on the way to work this morning, it was so bizarre. There was a car in front of me, just pulled in front of me. And it had my name, Bev, in the registration. And what was it? It said, try Bev, try
Oh
Bev.
my God.
Now, I'm not saying, when I say TR, it was a TR1, yeah? But from a distance, it looked like try Bev.
Wow.
And I just looked at it and I thought, then I went to work, and the boys came into the office and said, we don't want you to leave. Can you just stay maybe 2 or 3 days a week?
Oh.
We don't want you to leave. And the person that actually asked me to come into the job, I looked at him and I thought, there's something more going on here. There's something that I need to do. I'm not sure what it is yet, but I just felt that registration wanted me to try, and I don't know what it is yet.
Wow.
Well,
So I'm going back to
You never
work on
know.
Monday.
so
I'm having to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to walk my dog.
The idea.
And like everybody else on this Ascension program, I get 2 hours sleep a night.
Yeah, I'm feeling that way too. Yeah, Abby's got me
Yeah.
up between usually 5 and 6 in the morning. So yeah, so
Yeah.
We're good.
Being-
And Beverly, you may never know why you're doing this or what, but I can virtually guarantee you that there is a really good reason why you're doing what you're doing. And it may not have anything to do with you. You may be serving somebody else in some other way, or this could be a lesson for you too. And usually I find that it's, you know, the lessons go both ways. So, but
Yeah.
and when you see your name on a license plate, I remember
I mean, that's weird.
I was scrolling through Facebook. I can't remember. I had a big decision to make, and I was like, universe, I just need you to help me figure out what's
you a
the
sign.
answer. I need the answer, right? And
Yeah.
I'm looking on Facebook. I start scrolling, and I'm not kidding. A meme comes up that starts with the answer to your question is, and it answered my question. And I was like, okay, well, there's no point. Like when you're that direct, universe, I'm going to listen to you. And so for whatever reason, you needed that message to be that direct for you.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you
Yeah.
listened.
Well, one of the other things Wendy and I was talking about last time we was chatting with everybody. We're both doing the Course of Miracles. We're both doing the Course of Miracles, aren't we, Wendy?
well, I'm no longer, but that's okay. Go-
Yeah. Well, I'm intermittently doing it when I get time. But
Wendy-
the other book that I do try and do a chapter every day is the Paul Selig one with the guides. And with the guides, it's very much a hands-on book. So when they say to you that something's going to happen, it's all going to be through experience. And it might not be nice because what they do is they take you back to revisit things from a higher perspective.
Mhm.
Yep.
So, of course, going back to work in the environment that I'm in, I'm like, oh, no, what have I done to myself? I'm revisiting something that I don't want to revisit.
That's when I look really closely for the lessons so I can learn it and get going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is this? What am I supposed to be getting here?
Yeah.
I love that. Daniel, I was reading Pam's message too. Yes, Pam, it is similar to how you and I met behind the gate. I met Pam, I was retired in Tennessee for a couple of years, and it's a gated, I don't want to call it a gated community because it's not. That paints a completely different picture because there's 3,200 acres and there's hardly any homes in it. But there just happens to be a gate at each end and you have to have the code to get in. And anyway, so just happenstance about meeting people. And because I never ever would have imagined, and you know what, that's exactly what I did. We both did it. Pam and I both said respectively, but before we even met, please God, send me somebody to love behind the gate. It was like, I need to have a friend. I need somebody who's like me. It was like, and because it was so strong, it was like we met each other. And so that is, in the middle of Tennessee, in the middle of nowhere, so and I was looking at Daniel's message too about growing up when people called me weird. I took it as a badge of honor. Now the word weirdo is used affectionately, understanding. But it's true. And it is. And I still tell that story about when I first got my driver's license when I was 16 and my mom hands me the keys and on a keychain that says, I like you, you're weird, and so she just always called me that when synchronicities would happen, or I would hear a message from somebody like, great grandma who's been passed on, or she's like, yeah, you're weird. So, and I did too, Daniel. I took it as I was the psychedelic sheep, so yeah, that's right. And Mel, hey Mel, and I'm so happy, Pam, that you're enjoying the conversation. I'm so glad.
I noticed YouTube on their live chat now has a little heart thing. That
Oh,
actually blocks the message a little bit from
oh,
whoever last
I
wrote
see
the message.
that. It's a
So
new
you can send
thing.
heart
Oh,
or other things,
okay.
because from time to time I see
I see.
little hearty things.
Oh, okay. So this is something new in the chat on YouTube,
Yeah.
the live chat. So if you're hanging out, there's a new heart thing that appears so you can like send hearts out. Does it only show up to the people who are chatting in YouTube?
I don't know, send it.
Here, I'm just sending some stuff. So
Yeah,
anyway,
see, it's showing.
it
up.
it shows on the screen. Oh, does it show on the, oh, it does. I don't know.
Mhm.
Anyway, that's kind of fun. So
But-
just a
but
new
yes,
fun
it's
element.
showing. But it blocked, but whoever sent the very last message, the heart
Right.
is like covering.
It
the
kind of
right
covers
side
part
it.
of the message. It's kind of weird anyway. Well,
Mhm.
oh, technology, you know, it's fun. Well, that's awesome. Oh my God. Well, Beverly,
So we got some hearts.
that is, you know, that is, I love that you were here today. Obviously, you needed to be here for all of this and to share that amazing story. So I'm very, very excited for you. I know we've talked about some other things too about, you know, seeking out just other people in our, you know, in our lives. And like you said, Tabby, not knowing it could be maybe it's
Cheyenne
some.
is here.
Hi, Cheyenne. Good to have you. Good to have you.
Mhm.
Thank you. And I want to thank all of you guys, all of you, God, just for all of your love and your energy and being here today and your comments and your support and your sessions and your donations and buying our light language books. And we've been having so much fun following our highest joy and excitement doing that. So thank you, all of you. And so I wanted to thank Cheyenne as well for being here. And I'm really happy for you, Beverly, and you know, wherever it takes you with no insistence and no expectations, and that you're gonna stick it out for a little bit longer just to see what the universe has in store for you. And clearly someone there needs you there. They need your energy, they need your light, they need your love, they need your future messages.
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, I can't tell you anything more. I don't even get time to read my book. I took my book in thinking, oh, I'll be able to sit in a corner here and read. No, full on, straight in there. I'm like, I come home and I think I must walk the dog. I'm too tired. I sit in my room and I'm like, oh my God, the end of another day. You know? Just what have I let myself in for?
Oh, that's awesome. Hi, Cheyenne. I didn't know if you wanted to say hi or put your camera on or just your audio or neither, whatever. It's okay.
I did want to say hi real quickly. I'm going to be cooking dinner, so I'll probably just stay off camera. But I just wanted to say hello to you guys. I love you so much, and I got my.
You got the
Oh.
Yeah, I'm really excited because I've been looking for a new, like, well, I haven't ever kept a dream journal, but now I'm going to be, and among other things, as guided to in your awesome merchandise. So I'm really excited about that. So I'll be listening.
You know, you just gave me such, oh my God, you just gave me such a divine affirmation, because I've been told Dave, I've been wanting to create this like journal, and I didn't want to call it a dream journal because a lot of dream journals are out there, but it's like this. Okay, here's these symbols, and look at them at like before you go to bed, and then like intend on whatever it is that you want to connect to, or maybe I just want to remember my dreams, or have I had ET experiences? Do I want to remember? Or, you know, how can I move in, remember more of my blueprint reality, so that I can play and remember, and, you know, all these, I'm getting all tingly, all these kinds of things. And so I'm thinking about making this like journal kind of thing where, you know, you look at that, and then like maybe even write down what is your thought for the night right now, or your intention, or even just think it, you know, and then in the morning, you know, well, what happened? You know, did something happen? Did you have a contact? Did you have do you have a memory of something? Did you, you know, and so that was so funny that you said that about wanting to start a dream journal, because that was exactly, and I wanted to take the symbols and like incorporate it somehow and like use it as a, you know, and like a night and morning, like I want to do this at night, and then again in the morning, I'm going to go, okay, you know, what happened? And even if nothing happened, that's okay, you know. But anyway, thank you. Oh my God, it's so good to see you.
So it's really exciting because you're the first person who got a book and showed it to us.
I I'm just like,
Okay.
oh my God. I'm like, oh, I'm so tingly.
That's
And
Wendy's book. Somebody has
I mean,
it.
and you know what? I use mine too, you guys. I mean, I literally use them. I swear I use them. And so thank you for saying that. And, I just wanted to remind everybody too, we've been really busy, but we've got more and more stuff coming up for members who are, members of the website. And so thank you all of you for supporting me and us and our love and our joy and our endeavors. And so, but I wanted to let you guys know, to those members out there, we're putting more and more content just for members out there, and we're going to be doing, more private stuff. And so I just wanted to kind of put that out. We're still building, stuff and stuff to do, but thank you so much. How have you been? I'm so good to see you. And yeah, we've got to get going and eating dinner and cooking here soon too. So, oh God, and Tabby, my God, she's been here for 2 hours.
Well, and before I go, I just want to invite anybody who's interested to come
Yes.
to the private Facebook page. It's called Light Language, Soul Language Practice Group. You do not have to speak to be a part of it, but if you just want a like-minded community, it is private. So it's only, it's only like, I don't know, 400 people or something. So pretty small group. But if you have questions, if you want somebody to give you feedback on something you've channeled or whatever it is, just a nice safe place where there's no judgment and you can just be you.
And as you can see, it was a very comfortable place because here we are today. So doing this.
And it got us here, so it's got to be great.
Well, thank you, Tabby. I really appreciate it. And
Thank
again, you
you.
guys,
I
all of her
appreciate
links are
it.
below. We never expect to go as long as we do. And I know you all have other lives and things to do. But it's all in the sharing. And I thank you and bless all of you and bless this group. And so if you need to go, Tabby, I don't want to keep you if you need to go. You've been so gracious to stay here as long as you have. I'm sure your kitty cat wants to get up and move if they haven't already.
Oh, I got her let out already. No,
Oh,
no
okay.
worries there. So I'll hang with you until you sign off. And
Okay, that sounds
but I
good.
appreciate the invite, and I hope I get to come back and hang out.
Oh,
with you.
anytime. And we'll just, hey, anytime you want to, just say so. And as we do more of this stuff too, and hey, and even, and then I get all these ideas of, anytime maybe we want to do something private together, and just do a private hangout where people can talk and not have to be broadcast on YouTube and, or on social media. So, yeah, I think that also is a great thing. And, Cheyenne, I just got to tell you, ever since we met and you and your energy and, I'm, as much as I often, and this goes with all of us when we are timid about sharing something, it's because we're so accustomed to not doing that. And because we think there's going to be some negative repercussion. And I just want to say this publicly and out loud that, and because I can't really hide it or hold it any longer, but the moment that you came into our lives, and I told Dave the moment we got offline with you, and I said, she's my daughter. I said, somewhere, somehow, some way, she is my daughter. And now I want to cry. So that's how I know it's real. I knew right away.
Wow, I just got
I knew right away. And and this is why I don't share this stuff, you guys, because I cry, because I knew right away. And I told Dave, I said, she's our daughter.
that really explains quite a lot, actually, because I feel a really strong connection to you guys, and I actually haven't been around as much lately, but I've been missing you. And it's funny because, with your light language and the drawings and wonderful drawings that you do, I don't pretend to understand what they are, but
Me either. I don't.
I know you. I because you've been so honest about that, it makes me feel okay with acknowledging. But I still really enjoy looking at them. And whenever you speak the light language, also, like, I swear, I don't know what you're saying, but I feel like something still comes across to me, and I really enjoy listening to it. I don't know. I can't explain it. So maybe that's it. Maybe
that is it. And I know, like I said, and when I get those kind of emotional hits, and I don't know, maybe Tabby, you can elaborate that on just a little bit before you go, but that's kind of my no. Like, I don't know how else to say it, but that's my no. It's like my heart opens, I start to cry, I get this acknowledgement. It's like, and then I say, I can't make this stuff up, and I just know it. And for me to say it out loud and in public, it's like, But this is part of one of the things that I came to do and share, and why we do this in public is because we need to be okay with opening our hearts and saying those things, because we are multidimensional beings having so many parallel reality experiences that we know that when we're connecting in this light, that we're together in other ways in other places. And I can't explain it. I can't tell you how the strength of it, just like the knowingness when I met Tabby and Beverly and, and Pamela and Daniel and, and all these people in the chats and Heather. And it's like, I know these are people that I know in my heart, I know them.
So to find more of your soul family, which is sort of what we all want to do, you have to be more of who you are, so you recognize each other. When you're pretending to be somebody else, you're not going to recognize each other as much.
So I wanted to thank Cheyenne for, taking that step and just hanging out with us that day and just, following your own instincts, because none of us really knew. You didn't really know what the connection, and I don't even, and the thing is you guys, I can't verify any of this. How could I, except for my heart tells me what it tells me. I don't know. So I think that's part of the message here today, what I wanted to close with. And I think we need to close today. And I really,
and we'll say goodbye on YouTube.
yeah.
And then
And we can sit here and,
we'll leave this on.
we'll leave it on so we can chat if you like, behind the scenes here, and then I'll take a washroom break. But I wanted to reiterate that to all of us and all of you out there, that's what, we call ascension, you call it whatever, spiritual awakening. We're just opening our hearts more and more, and we're seeing more and more of what's already there. We're acknowledging what's already there, and we're honoring it. And we're saying, I know you. My heart knows you. I
Oh,
that.
they've gone. They've abandoned us.
Yeah, they're frozen in time. They'll come
Yeah,
back.
the energy just got too much.
Yeah. They usually pop right back.
It's been quite good today. Last time we was on, it was flickering all over the place.
I know, we're like, oh, we're not back yet. Are we back?
Yes.
Back.
Yeah.
They're back.
So I don't know if you caught the end of that, but I just wanted to say that is part of what this is about, opening our hearts and sharing this stuff. And even though I can't verify it, I know it in my heart. And do we really need to know more than that? And to be shy about saying something like that, because you know what? Because as healers or channelers, or you're afraid you're going to change someone's life in a way that you're not allowed to. But I got to say, you guys, I wouldn't be allowed to say it. It wouldn't have been able to come out of my mouth if it wasn't okay for both she and I to have that interaction at that moment, and to say, it's okay to say that and to trust it. And I think that's a big message. See the big message that, boom, mic drop. What happens when you come in at the end?
I didn't mean to come in at the end. Actually, I must have got my times confused. I set an alarm on my phone and everything. So
Doesn't matter. It's perfect. It's like perfect.
Well, I still fully intend, and I've been taking some steps toward, I fully intend on taking you up on your invitation to come visit. I don't know how long it's going to be. So hopefully maybe sometime this year, but I have.
That should be long enough for me to kind of get the house clean. I don't know, maybe.
Oh, I don't care about that. I just think it would be really fun to hang out. I was actually sort of planning, I ride a motorcycle, and I've been trying to figure out ways to incorporate more like long bike trips. And I want to ride across the country. I live in New York City, but going all the way to the West Coast, it's kind of far, but I was thinking, well, what if I just went south down to those guys? And that would still be a pretty good trip. And then like on the way, I was going to try and like find UFO hotspots and stuff like that. And just really like have myself a little bike venture journey of my own. And maybe even take like a whole month to do it, like really casually, like just ride down and enjoy that. And then maybe stay with you guys for a week or something. I don't know. But yeah, I'll keep you posted as things unfold, but I have it in mind.
Excellent. And I know we have chatted about that before, and to all of you, including Beverly and all of you, yes, if you're here in our neck of the woods, please give us a holler. you know, it's our humble abode. We are who we are and what we are, and we are not pretentious in any way, shape, or form. And all are welcome. We're just, let me see if you could see what this table looks like around me right now. It's just, you know, we are who we are. You know, I've got cards and decks and stuff and maracas and books and computers and CDs. And so if you could see around here, you know, but we are crystals and skulls, and, you know, we are who we are. But hey, you know, you're all welcome, and all weirdos are welcome, you know.
Say goodbye to YouTube.
So we're going to say goodbye to YouTube. We'll keep this running so you guys can chat a minute, and then we can say goodbye. So we love you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, all of you out there who've supported your love through your comments, your sharings, your being here, your energies. Thank you all. And my heart is always open to all of you, and you're always welcome in my heart and in my home. So thank you for being with us. And I want you to feel, all of you everywhere and everywhen, that this is somewhere you can call home. For we are home. This is our home. So thank you. I would be remiss if I didn't ask Tabby if she'd like to leave us with a light language blessing as well.
Sure. Shaliator nak ishnerea sut, mar ishnikirea satirator, maya sekero no shia sakir, maya sotora shana esikiro no, mirsho sotirata, ekia sonoishi.
Thank you so much for that
Thank you.
beautifully, divinely delivered message. It is once again an honor and pleasure to be in your energy once again. And you know, we cannot explain these connections we feel, but they are real. So thank you for welcoming me into your light language home, and thank you for joining us in ours. It has just been such a delightful experience. Thank you. A wonderful exchange. And I thank you also for the information that you've delivered here to all of us, to those present and who will watch, and to Beverly. Thank you for being here to receive the information. And I'm overwhelmed with love. How about you?
Until another now.
Until another now. Thank you so much.
Love you
Thank
all.
you, Beverly. Love you guys.
YouTube should be